Ned Fulmer built a career on one noble quality, loving his wife.
So I got down on one knee and I asked her to marry me. And she said, "Wait, are you serious?" And then she said, "Of course I'll marry you."
But when an anonymous source puts that very trait into question, fans will be left stunned, as a relationship they thought was a dream descends into a nightmare.
And normally, my wife is right there. It's not the same without her.
It's the story that's captured the world's attention.
We have been trending for a while
And set off various reactions. But who's to blame?
He said something like, "I really wish I could take you, baby, but I'm gonna get in so much trouble."
And why are some viewers not so shocked by the scandal?
No kids, 35.
Rainy, I
Good
love
luck
that.
fighting that biological clock.
As statements are posted
We're sorry that this ever happened, and we don't know what more to say.
and new sources come forward,
Neddy Ned. I found out your shenanigans in May.
Ned Fulmer's reputation may be damaged, but it's his co-workers who have been left to deal with his mess.
We feel saddened, not just personally, but on behalf of our staff and our fans who believed in us.
Before we get into the story, we'd like to thank this video sponsor, Established Titles, a project that can help you officially become a lord or lady today. Established Titles is based on a historic Scottish custom where landowners are referred to as lairds, or lords and ladies in English. Established Titles gives you the opportunity to buy as little as 1 square foot of private land in Edelston, Scotland, to earn your title as a lord or lady. You'll receive an official certificate with a crest featuring your unique plot number, which can be used to see the exact location of your land. Choose from individual lordship and ladyship title packs, or a couple title pack that comes with adjoining plots of land. It's not just an elegant nickname to use among your close circle. You can also add lord or lady to your credit cards, plane tickets, and even on your dating profiles. Your private land is intended to be kept in its natural state to help preserve the picturesque woodlands and biodiversity of Scotland. Established Titles also support an important cause, afforestation. With every order, a tree is planted somewhere in the world, and they work with charities like One Tree Planted and Trees for the Future to support global reforestation efforts. It's a fun, novel way to help preserve Scotland's beautiful nature, while also supporting global afforestation efforts around the world. It makes an amazing last-minute gift. Established Titles is actually running a massive sale. Plus, if you use the code SPILL10, you get an additional 10% off. Go to establishedtitles.com/spill10 to get your gifts now and help support the channel. The first 200 people purchasing a title pack using our link will effectively be next to our plot, within walking distance. Depending on how many of you want to become a lord or lady, we can build our little Spill realm. Now back to the story.
The mid-2010s. A time immortalized by viral challenges, Twitter debates over the color of a dress, and reality stars making presidential leaps. It was in this anything goes cultural landscape that BuzzFeed became the Simon Cowell of YouTube. Yep, the media platform's channel was expertly engineered groups, from the women of Ladylike to the duo of Worth It. But perhaps none have stood as tall and fallen as hard in recent times as the channel's poster boy foursome, TheTryGuys. As the name suggests, the group was game to try anything, which went perfectly with BuzzFeed's MO of questioning, pushing, and breaking boundaries. So, with the odd beginning of a September 2014 video that required each Try Guy to sport women's underwear for the first time, the careers of Keith Habersberger,
These are luxurious. They feel great.
Zach Kornfeld,
Where's the rest of it?
Eugene Lee Yang,
You want your guy to look sexy, don't put them in your underwear.
and Ned Fulmer
I will not like this. This will not be over quickly.
began. And proving the rules of boy groups still apply to grown men, each Try Guy's identity hinged on one key trait. Eugene was the edgy guy, Keith was the funny guy, Zach was the sweet guy, and Ned, well, he was the guy who loved his wife.
You leave my wife out of this.
Ned's feelings for his wife, Ariel, became his defining characteristic, the force he appeared to be ruled by.
No! Ariel! Ariel! Ah! Ariel! Ariel!
I went off course a little bit. I saw my wife in a cage, and nothing else mattered.
And Ned paraded his seemingly happy marriage across the channel. See, BuzzFeed was its own multiverse of various series, scripted content, and standalone videos. So while Ned was tied to the Try Guys world, he was featured in videos throughout the channel, and so was Ariel. One series that cemented Ned as the wife guy was Married vs. Single, a show where Ned and co-host Kelsey Dara gave relationship advice from different perspectives.
Hi, I'm Ned and I'm married.
I'm Kelsey and I am super single.
And as a quiz given on the series seemed to prove through compatible answers,
what movie represents your soulmatedness?
and a swoon-worthy response to the exact day Ned fell for his wife,
We would talk for hours on the phone and I would walk all around the block, and I remember just really realizing how important this person was and that I couldn't wait to get to know her even more.
there was no question.
You guys are soulmates! Congratulations! We didn't know that already about you two.
And it wasn't just Ned's relationship with Ariel that made him the wife guy. It was the enlightened approach to relationships he showcased.
What counts as cheating?
Is it ever okay?
How do you talk about it?
Do you ever come back from it?
So while Kelsey proposed that cheating is best kept secret on Married vs. Single,
You have to live with that guilt. And
Yeah.
by telling someone, you're actually just doing yourself a favor
And
you're
making them feel bad.
Yeah, making them feel
Wow.
Ned endorsed open communication.
If some cheating is happening, it's probably indicative of some deeper problems. So you say keep it in, I say tell the person.
And even gave an example of when he practiced this in real life with Ariel after he and friends went out dancing and one girl started getting too close.
I told her about it afterwards, things got a little too close on the dance floor.
Yeah, that's a
made me
tricky
uncomfortable.
one. Did she appreciate the
Yeah, she appreciated that we were talking about it.
So while Ned could discuss whether the old adage, once a cheater, always a cheater, held weight,
I think cheating is so much an outgrowth of what's happening in the relationship that no, if you've cheated before, there's hope.
he spoke as an outsider who was too in love to even consider straying from his wife. At least, that's how it seemed. And as viewers grew to idealize the Fulmer marriage, BuzzFeed released more and more Ned and Ariel content. The channel put them through various relationship-ending tests, like handcuffing them for 24 hours,
I need some space.
having them spend 90 hours trapped together without internet, swap jobs,
You guys know glitter beards, right?
Yes.
Okay, now is the time to do my idea of sticker beards.
and surprise each other with haircuts,
I know you really well, sweetie.
I already am regretting this.
only for the husband and wife to come out of these scenarios as strong as ever. It appeared there was no test the lovebirds couldn't ace.
So there you go. Turns out Ned knows as much about his wife as he does the NFL. Pretty adorable, also a little frustrating.
Not yet, anyways. To BuzzFeed viewers, Ned and Ariel's romance was one for the Hallmark Channel.
It's corny, but it's true. When you know, you know. And in a lot of ways, I knew right away on the first evening that we met.
And it seemed to carry that same movie magic on the day Ned proposed.
I just had this moment that I realized that, if I got hit by a bus tomorrow, I would want her to know how I felt today.
In a spontaneous decision, Ned took off from work and showed up at Ariel's office in a suit.
I was barely keeping it together at this point. Seriously, I was trying to focus on the asphalt, because if I just thought about how I felt about Ariel, I would was gonna start crying or something.
As for the answer, well, we know how that went. But beyond these over-the-top displays of affection and romantic gestures, were there red flags in the relationship that viewers couldn't see or didn't want to see? Maybe it was the online access that made the audience invest in the love story. Maybe it was our cultural predisposition to believe the narratives were fed. Maybe it was that real-world examples of happy couples are so rare that it became impossible not to pedestalize the relationship. Whatever the reason was, viewers had fallen for Ned and Ariel's romance. One viewer commented, "To be honest, the concept of marriage has always scared me, but watching these two makes me realize that it's an awesome life adventure with your best friend." Another wrote, "The communication and easiness between Ned and Ariel is just so amazing. You can feel the love, compatibility, and respect they have for each other." Viewers saw Ned and Ariel as a duo that would not only stay together, but stay in love together. And them being a real couple made happily ever after all the more aspirational, and in turn, hopeless if they ever decided to call it quits. As one viewer wrote, "If these two break up, I don't believe in love anymore." Thankfully, their romance showed no signs of stopping. When Ariel became pregnant, the couple decided to move from their rental home to a bigger and more permanent abode, and they took viewers along on the home buying process.
Wait, is this a second dishwasher?
No, couldn't possibly.
It might be.
Eventually, the two ended up choosing a Spanish-style fixer-upper.
We got the house!
And worked together to turn it into a dream home for their budding family. Over a year later, the couple was given the celebrity treatment when their house was featured on Architectural Digest's YouTube channel.
It's Ned from TheTryGuys.
And I'm Ariel.
Welcome to the Fulmer family household.
Ned and Ariel's life together appeared to be as storybook as ever as they toured viewers through their now unrecognizable home.
This is a photo from our wedding night. It's my favorite photo that we have.
And showed off new developments.
Wesley.
Hey, Wes.
Hi.
Hi. Hi.
But it wasn't only their personal life that had changed since buying their home. In June 2018, it was announced that the Try Guys were leaving BuzzFeed to create their own media company called Second Try LLC. The foursome was also given the rights to the Try Guy brand, leaving Ned, Keith, Eugene, and Zach with creative control over their work.
Guess who creates the protocol? These guys. Guess who runs HR? Nobody. We don't have HR.
And it turned out Ned was a major force behind their decision to create Second Try.
We all went to Zach's place, and I walked the team through a spreadsheet of everything that I thought we could do.
5 days after launching their YouTube channel, they had over 673,000 subscribers and over 3.6 million views. And while their ownership had changed, it appeared some things would always remain the same.
And we're beyond thrilled to be sharing this next chapter of our professional and personal lives with those who matter the most to us.
My wife.
No.
Oh, my baby.
Their second channel continued to uphold Ned and Ariel as the ideal marriage, with video compilations like every time Ned Fulmer says my wife,
My wife. My wife.
My wife.
My wife. My wife.
My wife.
My wife.
and Ned and Ariel being absolutely perfect, a video that encapsulated their love story.
We have a special guest joining us.
Who is it? Ah, it's my wife.
From puppy surprises
It's our new dog. Are you excited that we get to take him home today?
to pregnancy announcements,
Yeah! I took like 4. I took like 4 because I wasn't sure.
to babies,
It's the start of a big journey, but one that the three of us are really excited for.
to a hopeful future.
Can you imagine growing old with this?
Yeah, I think you look great.
But by September 2022, this vision of Ned and Ariel's future was collapsing as the first cracks in their relationship started to show. It all started when Ned went missing, at least virtually speaking. But where had he gone? And, more importantly, why had he left? Let's go back to September 1st, the day a lucky fan ran into Ned on their way to a Harry Styles concert at Madison Square Garden. The fan posted selfie evidence of the encounter to the Try Guys subreddit, along with an accusation that Ned hadn't been alone. The fan claimed that Ned had been with Alexandria Herring, or Alex for short. Alex is the associate producer of the Try Guys, as well as co-host of one of their spin-off series, Food Babies, along with Try Guys senior video editor YB Chang. And unlike Ned, the fan alleged Alex seemed annoyed that the viewer had recognized and was talking to them. The fan waited to see if any photos from the concert were shared by Ned or Alex on social media, but none were. It was like that night had never happened. But one Reddit user recalled a Try Guys producer named Rachel Ann posting about the concert too, implying the two hadn't been alone. So perhaps the concert hadn't been anything beyond a post-work bonding activity, one that neither Ned nor Alex felt like letting the public in on. But then there was that ominous post that followed the concert from a Reddit user by the name of Hamilton390. The user alleged that multiple people reported having seen Ned around NYC this week making out with women at the local bars. It's unfortunate for Ariel, his family, and the Try team, but this is true, they wrote. Other Reddit users were dismissive of the claims and the post was later deleted. But that wasn't the end of Hamilton390. One Reddit user who'd replied to Hamilton390's allegation and implied that without proof, the post was likely fake, ended up receiving a DM from the user themselves. And not only did Hamilton390 have proof, it seemed the anonymous poster was closer to the story than met the eye. You one of the people that want proof? Hamilton390 asked the user. Yes, please, they replied. In return, Hamilton390 sent screenshots of an Instagram message exchange that it appeared they'd received. In the images, a messenger asked them whether a crossed-out name was in New York at that time, which Hamilton390 confirmed. The messenger proceeded to tell Hamilton390 390 that they had seen that person at a club called Niagara around 1 to 3 a.m. making out with a very married Ned Fulmer. They proceeded to send Hamilton 390 video evidence of the spotting, which appeared to show two figures who bore blurry resemblances to Ned and Alex, with their lips locked. Was it just them two? Hamilton 390 asked. The messenger alleged they'd been alone and weren't even trying to be private. The entire time they were making out. He was touching her too, all that stuff, they wrote. Hamilton 390 wrote that they just spoke to Ariel for an hour, and the messenger responded that they DM'd her as well. Amongst the screenshots of the messages, Hamilton 390 also included a phone number they claimed belonged to Ned. The Reddit user was still unconvinced. They replied that the video could be literally any white guy, but there was a bigger mystery these screenshots supplied. Who was Hamilton 390? Why had they been the person to contact with those images? Why had the messenger seemed apologetic? Why would Hamilton 390 have access to Ned's contact information? There's more than I'm not willing to share, Hamilton 390 told the Reddit user, but go ahead and call that number and tell me I'm bluffing. I'll be telling everyone. And with that, he pulled his virtual mask off. This is Will Thayer, he wrote, Alex's fiance. Will Thayer was not only Alex's fiance, but had been in a committed relationship with the Food Babies star for over 10 years. Safe to say, the claim that he was behind Hamilton 390 added an undeniable gravity to the situation. And while the evidence may have been blurry, the fact that the man wore a shirt that appeared to be the same one Ned wore in the fan photo, and Alex had been seen wearing a similar dress and purse on Instagram, seemed to bring the images into focus. On September 3rd, Hamilton 390 made more allegations that Ned was a cheater. My girlfriend absolutely loathes Ned. She finds him pretentious, a tryhard, and just not funny. Any hope on changing her mind? One Reddit user asked the Try Guys subreddit. Maybe it's the fact that Ned openly cheats on his wife and has no remorse, but still plays the family man persona on the channel. Kind of wild, Hamilton 390 replied. At the time, one user replied, What a strange thing to say. I just looked at your profile and all you've ever felt the need to comment on, post about is Ned cheating? It's fine not to like him at all, but that's such weirdo creepy energy. But it seemed time would vindicate Hamilton 390. And while the Try Guys didn't comment on his absence, there was a growing tension in the air. On a September 8th episode of their podcast, The Tripod, Zach saw the video where Harry Styles appeared to spit on Chris Pine as some much-needed levity during this time.
I've had a rough week. This has been needed. So you may call us petty right now.
It's healing. No.
We're surviving.
Ned was also mysteriously absent from this episode and continued to be for the next two. But it wasn't only that Ned was missing, it appeared he was being actively edited out of content. A Try Guys tracksuit photo shoot that July and August teasers suggested Ned was a part of debuted without him in September and soon replaced the old intro that had previously featured the foursome. And on September 14th, the Try Guys posted that they missed an early access upload for their Patreon because they had to move some things around in the video, suggesting some last-minute editing was needed. But Ned's presence still seemed to linger in these videos. From an elbow poking out in the periphery of a shot to a man in the background wearing the same shirt he'd worn in a TikTok with Alex, Ned hadn't been fully erased. One Reddit user dubbed the new style of editing as Nediting, but it seemed the Try Guys were running out of content Ned could be removed from. Eat the Menu, a typically monthly series that starred Keith, was uploaded twice in September. Both Ned and Alex were in Vegas during the shoot of the latest Eat the Menu, but neither appeared in the final cut, leading fans to suspect the two had been edited out. And Ned wasn't the only one who'd gone missing. Ariel was also nowhere to be seen. You Can Sit With Us, a podcast hosted by Try Guy other halves Maggie Bustamante, Zach's fiance, Becky Habersberger, Keith's wife, and Mrs. Fulmer herself, was missing the latter from September episodes. On September 20th, the Try Guys announced they would only be posting once a week until the end of October. 5 days later, online suspicion over the Ned and Alex situation reached its boiling point. Ned's absence had become harder and harder for fans to excuse. No family obligations, no vacation, no flu could amount for editing Ned out of videos for 3 weeks straight. And then there were those rumors. One Reddit user brought up the allegations made by Hamilton 390 that so many had waved off at the beginning of the month, and the commenter who received those DMs decided to share what they learned. The next day, Ned and Ariel broke their social media silence with Instagram stories that showed they were still in an unaltered state of domestic bliss, spending time with their kids and making pizza. Had the internet been driven into a panic over nothing? It was possible, but as some mentioned, the photos couldn't have been their current state, unless Ned and Ariel were really having pizza night at 2:50 p.m. Other social media behavior appeared to be more telling. Will had deleted all of his photos with Alex. Alex and Ned no longer followed each other, and Food Babies co-host YB had unfollowed Ned and Alex. Then there was a more direct call-out from former TryGuys social media manager Jake LaRosa. The ex-employee claimed he had left the company a few days before word of Ned's alleged affair had blown up online, and his recent TikTok seemed to confirm the rumor. He captioned the video, "Good morning everyone except notable cheaters Adam Levine, John Mulaney," and, followed by an ominous ... quickly filled in by the co-author of the cookbook he's reading, Ned Fulmer. And as the internet continued to piece together the puzzle, the detective work came to a halt as the truth finally came out. On September 27th, Ned released a statement on Twitter and Instagram. He wrote that while family should have always been his priority, he had lost focus and had a consensual workplace relationship. "I'm sorry for any pain that my actions may have caused to the guys and the fans, but most of all, to Ariel. The only thing that matters right now is my marriage and my children, and that's where I'm going to focus attention," he said. The internet was not won over by the apology or the wording. Consensual workplace relationship is such a lousy way to say cheating. Time to make use of your Yale chemistry degree, I guess. How is cheating on your wife losing focus? You cheated and got caught. Simple as that. I hope Ariel and your kids come out of this okay. You need a reality check. Consensual workplace relationship don't exist as a boss. The TryGuys also released a statement across social media platforms, stating that Ned was no longer a part of the group after an internal review revealed there would be no way to pursue a path forward together. "We thank you for your support as we navigate this change," the Now trio wrote. Ariel also released a statement thanking those who had reached out to her during this time. "Nothing is more important to me and Ned than our family, and all we request right now is that you respect our privacy for the sake of our kids," she wrote. And while her statement didn't comment on the future of her relationship with Ned, Reddit users noted she'd taken wife out of her bio. With statements making their rounds online and the wider internet catching wave of the affair, TryGuys trended on Twitter and the situation quickly became a punchline. One Twitter user joked, "Biden's silence on the Ned Fulmer cheating allegations is deafening." Another suggested Ned was only breaking new ground for the group who tried it all, tweeting a catchy future video title, "The TryGuys Try Adultery." And others have memed the phrase consensual workplace relationship. Fans, on the other hand, appeared to be more affected by the news. One fan wrote, "Call it silly, but even with all the evidence, I wanted to believe it wasn't true. It's just speculation, and that photo isn't great. I'll wait till the TryGuys makes an official announcement. Welp, here I am, and it's still hard to believe." And another said, "I had to look to see if it was true, and I can't believe it." There were also viewers who questioned whether there were appropriate grounds for termination. "I don't understand why cheating on your wife equates to losing your job. Was there some kind of clause in the contract that you had to remain faithful in your relationship or lose your livelihood?" But others were keen to suggest replacements for Ned, like producer Kwesi James, who had been featured in various TryGuys videos. Some even pitched replacing Ned with the now scorned woman Ariel. And while it may have seemed too soon to bring someone new into the fold, there was no question the TryGuys were moving fast to erase Ned from the brand. They had already removed his color-coded heart from the channel's Twitter and Instagram bios and unfollowed him on their personal accounts. After 8 years, Eugene, Keith, and Zach had officially dimmed the lights on Ned. And while their actions may have looked cold, fans noted this wasn't just a moral stance they were taking. As one viewer put it, "I mean, he risked their livelihood as well." And another replied, "It's probably still at risk. Could be some serious lawsuits stemming from this." YB also addressed the situation on her Instagram story. In her statement, she thanked those who'd supported her and asked those who didn't to please refrain from commenting on old photos. "I don't want to have to go back and delete everything," she wrote. "I will continue to focus on editing awesome videos for you guys, both on the TryGuys and my own channel. I mean, we just did a TV show. Also eating a ton of food and spicy challenges." And the ghosts of BuzzFeed past had also returned to speak their mind. Devin Lytle of Ladylike tweeted, "2022, the year we realized that wife guys are still guys." And when one Twitter user wrote, "The most ironic part of the Ned Fulmer TryGuys drama is that someone at BuzzFeed is going to write an article about this." Kelsey Darragh replied, "T-minus 13 minutes." Other former employees provided more insight into the situation, with Sam Stryker commenting on the culture of the channel that those too old or young might not be privy to, tweeting, "You have to understand, working at BuzzFeed from 2014 to 2017 was like being a part of the Suicide Squad. It seemed BuzzFeed was an environment that thrived on spontaneity, absurdity, and a severe lack of professionalism. Outlandish taste tests, uncomfortable situations, moments of whimsy, bizarre interviews, and equally bizarre coworkers were all a part of the BuzzFeed fever dream, and the experiences of other former employees echoed Sam's." Ariel Calderon recalled becoming a public enemy after surprising Nick Jonas, who it turned out was diabetic, with cupcakes. Julia Furlan interviewed a piece of kale that came out as gay during her BuzzFeed days, and Candace Lowry Bryant filmed her second date with her now husband for video content. It seemed Ned's affair had spawned a makeshift reunion as BuzzFeed employees. As Kristen Kirikow tweeted, "I have reconnected with almost every work friend I have in the last 8 hours." Speaking of Ned, what did the former co-workers have to say about their experience with the once Try Guy? Maya Murillo alluded to the affair not being shocking to those behind the scenes, tweeting, "Very much not surprised," with Devin and Lindsay replying, "Oop." Former BuzzFeed employee Stephen Alec also posted Instagram stories on the matter. According to Stephen, he used to be friends with Ned until they had a rough falling out many years ago, where Stephen allegedly popped off hard at him, leading to them never speaking again. I'll say this, I'm not surprised at the duplicity. It was a running joke that there were different Neds for different days. What surprises me is the stupidity, because Ned is not stupid. He's a hyper-competitive blue blood Yaley. I like to enjoy my schadenfreude, given the animosity between us and the fact that I went on to be working class and he's a millionaire. But I always liked Ariel, and now she's caught in the blast zone of his weird self-destruction, he wrote. And while some viewers were hopeful that the couple's breakup for a week video might foreshadow Ned's future,
It's kind of lonely sitting in the bed all by myself. And normally, my wife is right there. It's not the same without her.
it appeared the former Try Guy is working on his marriage. On September 28th, Ned and Ariel were spotted by TMZ taking their kids to school in separate cars, but still wearing their wedding bands. Later that day, the two were spotted again, prompting a TMZ paparazzo to ask whether they were working things out. "Yeah, I mean, we're working on working things out," Ariel said. But with Young Gravy, a rapper known for his interest in older women, allegedly receiving a follow from Ariel, it's hard to know where the two stand presently. Still, it appeared Ned's days of the widely adored wife guy were over. That is, if he'd ever been that person in the first place. Since the affair came out, some viewers have suggested that Ned's always been shady or creepy. A past TikTok captioned, "POV, you're at a wedding and think you're vibing with a bridesmaid, but she's got her own thing going on," didn't exactly align with the dedicated husband persona. And then there were troublesome comments made by Ned on the Tripod podcast, like when Eugene was describing each of their zodiac signs, and Ned made an off-color comment about producer Miles Bonsignore's supposed astrological traits.
They have a natural sense of humility and independence, I would say, about Virgos.
Okay, yeah, seems fine.
And then their negative traits.
That's not true.
Another uncomfortable moment came from an episode where editor Rainey Toll mentioned her possibly childless future.
I am excited to be 35. Married, no kids, on the couch with my husband, drinking wine, employed.
But Ned let a comment slip out.
I
No
will say.
kids, 35.
Rainey, I
Good
love
luck
that.
fighting that biological clock.
She doesn't want kids, maybe.
Maybe-
at
well,
all.
Well, maybe.
I love this for you, Rainey.
And while Ned apologized on the next Tripod episode,
Something I feel really bad about and not appropriate for a male boss to say to anyone, but especially a female employee.
many viewers have cited the tense exchange as the moment they stopped caring for Ned. One fan wrote, "I'm not even child-free and find that so tasteless. People can live their own lives." And another said, "I started disliking him after the comment to Rainey too. It felt uncomfortable hearing him say it and her reaction. His behavior disgusted me." Then there were the rumors that the affair wasn't the first time Ned had strayed from Ariel's side. One Reddit user wrote that Ned cheating didn't surprise them after witnessing his behavior in a club. "Ned was being really weird towards my friend and trying to get her to dance on him the whole night," they wrote. When someone asked when this happened, the Reddit user alleged it was in June 2019 during one of the Try Guys tours. "I remember asking Keith if he's always like that, and he said yes," they claimed. The Reddit user also alleged Ned tried to tempt her and her friend with free backstage passes to see their next show. And there was more evidence coming out of Ned and Alex taking their affair public, such as a now deleted TikTok that allegedly showed Ned and Alex at a club where Kwesi was also supposedly present. And while some were upset Kwesi may have witnessed the affair, others defended him. The Kwesi comments are so annoying because even if he did know, what the fuck is he supposed to do about two fully grown adults having an affair? Tweet about it? And September wasn't the first time Ned and Alex were allegedly spotted alone together. Demois posted a photo from May that allegedly showed the boss and employee eating at New York restaurant L'Artusi together, which lines up as they were filming an Eat the Menu in the city in May. But Ned wasn't the only one being placed under a microscope, so was Alex. The Food Baby star's seemingly innocent comments didn't seem so innocent in hindsight.
I miss Ned. I miss Ned too.
Whoa, you gonna take that, mild daddy?
Yeah, I don't care.
He's already said I'm his least favorite food baby, so we're already feuding.
In fact, some seem downright cold-hearted to viewers now.
I wish your wonderful family the best of the world.
Aww,
That was nice too.
That's nice.
I think I started off rocky, but that one is pretty good.
And then there was the question mark that hovered over Alex's character that she talked about allegedly meeting Post Malone at an SNL after-party.
Was he the celebrity that you made the strongest connection with?
I think he'd remember me.
She claimed she was chatting with the rapper when the subject of adult dance clubs came up.
So I was like, yeah, that sounds fun, we should go. And he turns to me, he's like, I'd love to take you, but I'm gonna be in so much trouble. Because his girlfriend is pregnant and she was also in New York, so he had to be on his best behavior.
Alex persisted, asking him if he could come for a little bit.
He said something like, I really wish I could take you, baby, but I'm gonna get in so much trouble.
But Post Malone allegedly left her with a parting gift, which Alex brought with her to the podcast set.
Pulls out a wad of choose, and he hands this to me and goes,
$2
he goes,
bill.
make it rain for me. I'm like, okay. So I took it and I didn't end up
To viewers, the way Alex talked about the taken Post Malone while also being in a relationship reeked of clout chasing and pick-me vibes. One fan wrote, "Let me preface by saying I liked her before, but how she spoke about Post Malone and trying to convince him to stay out and go to the adult dance club even though he had a baby, I don't know, it just wasn't cool." Now, what remained of the Try Guys were left to clean up the mess Alex and Ned's affair had left in its destructive path. After making their statement on the situation, the Try Guys channel had gone eerily silent. On September 29th, they tweeted, "The tripod will be taking a week off and returning next week on October 6th. We wanted to take some time to formulate our thoughts before recording the episode. Thanks for being patient." And while some believe the Try Guys were complicit in Ned's cheating, there was no evidence to back this up. Kelsey Dara liked a tweet that screenshotted an image to Deux Moi that claimed when the teen found out about the affair, they removed Ned and launched an internal investigation. The Try Guys were also privating certain videos that featured Alex and Ned, such as Food Baby's 60-ounce tomahawk steak challenge, Try Guys' ultimate Japanese street food taste test,
2 food daddies and 2 food babies out for a family fun adventure.
the Try Team Gets Celebrity Hair Makeover, and Women Wear Wedding Dresses for the First Time, which heavily focused on Alex's then upcoming nuptials.
So currently I am engaged, very excited.
And over a decade-long relationship that may now be irreparably damaged.
We got engaged May of 2021. We've been together for about 10 and a half years. So right before I turned the anniversary, he proposed.
But the biggest victim of these videos being privated wasn't Alex, nor was it Ned. It was YB, the video editor who was now having her work actively scrubbed from the internet. Responding to someone who was angry at her not acknowledging the situation, YB wrote, "I didn't know. Happy? I'm already upset that a lot of my hard work is getting deleted. But thank you everyone for your support, means so much." But while videos were being removed and statements were being released, details about Ned's departure remained sparse. When was he removed from the Try Guys? How long had his coworkers known about the affair? Well, it seemed that close friend to the Try Guys and former BuzzFeed employee Kelsey Dara had some insight on the situation.
I just had a totally random thought that I had this morning. It has nothing to do with anything and is all alleged. My friends are incredible people who did what they legally could do while certain processes and investigations took place and concluded. And anyone talking about a timeline is crazy. And I know that they were doing what they could do.
Silence, it seemed, was one of the Try Guys' only options.
What they are allowed to say versus what the public can know is very different. They also were very accommodating for certain families involved, and that they care about their employees more than anything. And they are taking steps to ensure that their employees are okay.
And Kelsey also had an opinion on who was to blame in the situation.
There's no such thing as a consensual workplace environment when there is a dynamic of power involved. I don't care what your opinion is, that's just a fact. Just all totally random thoughts I had this morning. And men go to therapy.
On October 3rd, the Try Guys posted a thank you message to their Patreon subscribers that read, "We wanted to take a moment to express how much we deeply appreciate all of you. It's been an extremely shocking and painful time for the three of us and the staff at Second Try. We are working hard to bring content back to you as soon as we're able to. We want you to know that we see your support and thank you for your patience." The message, signed by Zach, Keith, and Eugene, was just another signifier that the future of Try Guys didn't involve Ned Fulmer. But behind the pre-planned statements and calculated remarks, how did those who'd been caught up in Ned's scandal really feel?
On October 3rd, the Try Guys uploaded a video to comment on the situation that taken social media by storm.
Ned Fulmer is no longer working with the Try Guys. By now, we're assuming you've seen the Reddit threads and TikToks and tweets and news articles.
The goal of the video was to be as transparent as possible, but not everything could be discussed on camera.
Throughout this video, there will be things that we want to say or go into further, but as I'm sure you're aware, there are some legal issues we have to consider as we go through everything.
According to the Try Guys, they were alerted to the scandal by fans on Labor Day weekend. When they approached Ned, he confirmed that not only were the reports true, but the affair had been going on for a while.
We had no idea this was going on. All of that information was just as shocking to us as all of this has been for you this week.
From there, action was immediate. The Try Guys started speaking with lawyers as well as HR and PR professionals to know what steps they had to take.
This is something we took very seriously. We refused to sweep things under the rug.
Ned was removed from the workplace as the investigation continued. During this time, they chose to erase Ned from their new content as well.
Over a few weeks, that's included removing his section from videos, digitally removing him from others, and choosing not to feature him in our merch throws.
Unfortunately, this meant some Ned-heavy videos had to be scrapped altogether.
And that's a decision that has cost us lots of money. We will not be able to recoup that money, but it's a decision we stand by proudly.
Although they couldn't go into specifics about what the review said for legal reasons, the conclusion was that they could no longer work with Ned. The decision was finalized on September 16th, over a week before the wider internet noticed something was amiss. So why had they not spoken up sooner? Well, the situation didn't only affect Ned.
Namely, there are real people who have been affected. And while we consider this a company matter, there's just also a family at the center of this.
But as the public began to catch on, the Try Guys realized they had to speak on the situation, and that also involved coming to terms with the fact that they hadn't just lost a coworker, they lost a friend.
I don't know that we'll ever be able to fully articulate the pain we feel at this moment.
Ned, a man they'd worked with for 8 years, who'd been a pivotal force in starting Second Try, and a huge part of their lives, had let them down.
It's hard to rewatch old videos that we love and are proud of. We're losing a friend, we're losing someone we built a company with, we have countless memories with.
But now their focus was on their staff and making them feel protected. And while they didn't name names, it appeared Alex might also fall under this umbrella.
We also want to remind you that the internet has a tendency to be a lot harsher towards women than men. So please, we ask that you exercise kindness.
TMZ has reported that Alex will not be fired, as the guys understand she wasn't in the position of power like Ned was, and they feel they need to protect their employee. If this is true, the choice to stay at the company would be Alex's, if that's what she wants to do. But it's possible the decision has already been reached, as Alex has since been removed as production manager from the Try Guys channel description. As for the future of Try Guys, the trio appeared to be cautiously optimistic.
What we hope is that within this, there's also the opportunity for positive growth and better videos ahead, but it's gonna be hard. This whole thing is gonna be really hard.
And while they were still figuring out the changes that needed to be made, the trio seemed prepared to embark on their new journey.
We look forward to introducing you to the next era of the Try Guys ahead.
The video may have provided a relative timeline of events, but details of the investigation remained murky. One Reddit user who claimed to work with corporate employment and compensation lawyers as a part of their job explained why a level of secrecy was the norm in situations like this. The Try Guys aren't just a friend group. They're a limited liability company that each member had ownership in. According to the Reddit poster, if an LLC doesn't discuss how a member can involuntarily be removed, the alternatives are striking a deal or a court battle, the latter being an unlikely scenario in this case. The poster believed a deal which included an NDA was likely met, which would explain the limited details the remaining Try Guys could provide. The What Happened video was certainly scripted and likely approved by lawyers. Though we could all see the anger and hurt, we are not likely going to get any more statements on their feelings or thoughts other than what we already got, the Reddit user wrote. And while Ned said the relationship was consensual, the power dynamics between a boss and employee can't be ignored. This meant firing Alex could lead to more legal trouble, which could explain the reports that she hadn't been let go. But even though the Try Guys could only say so much, viewers were already analyzing each frame, word choice, and expression contained in the 5-minute 31-second video. One viewer wrote, Eugene looks pissed, Zach looks heartbroken, and Keith has a tranquil fury in his eyes I've only seen in one of my managers after telling someone we couldn't take back a 2-year-old product. Another commented on the somber tone, writing, this is the first time, I think, that they've had to address the audience so seriously. I really don't like seeing those 3 look so raw and torn up. And then there was the overall lesson of the scandal that one viewer summarized. Goes to show you how what you do in life can negatively impact people that you've had long relationships with at the flip of a switch. Whatever the takeaway was, the Try Guys had made their stances heard. But want to know the funny thing about honesty? It's contagious. The next day, YB made no effort to hide her position, where she posted an Instagram story in Korean that translated to, cheaters are trash. And on October 5th, producer Miles Bonsignore released his own personal statement that played off of the wording in his ex-boss's statement.
It's also crazy. Everything that's been going on. Global warming. Geopolitics. My boss losing focus.
Finally, it seemed humor could be found by those who had been unwillingly dragged into the situation.
Firstly, I wanted to say that I'm a guy that works at a company. A company full of wonderful people that I cherish, that are creative and lovely, people that I consider coworkers.
And while Miles' statement remained just as tight-lipped on the details as the Try Guys had been, his attitude was a welcome change.
I'm not going to speak candidly about the situation because it involves real people and their personal lives. And while spilling tea can be fun, if you steep tea too long, it starts to taste yucky. So all I can say is this, I'm psyched to work for the new trifecta of Try Guys, and I think the company will be much better off for the ways in which we're refocusing on what's important to us.
During this time, someone else came forward with a Ned and Alex sighting that added to the evidence that the two had been together before September. TikToker Breezy Baby claimed she'd known about the cheating for a little longer than the rest of the public.
Neddy Ned. I found out your shenanigans in May. I saw you at Castaway Restaurant in Burbank with this woman, and you best believe I took videos of you and sent them to your wife via DM.
The TikToker then posted video that she'd allegedly taken of the two, as well as a screenshot where she'd informed Ariel she'd allegedly seen Ned kissing the dark-haired woman. An account that appeared to be Alex's fiance commented on the TikTok, saying he wished he'd known this in May and that the poster should have sent it to him. And when one viewer pondered whether Ariel had been cool with the affair this entire time, and the account using Will's name had stopped that theory in its tracks, commenting, "We weren't," it appeared the truth had set those tangled in Ned and Alex's web free to comment on the subject openly, and this included Eugene, Zach, and Keith. Unburdened by their statement and video addressing the situation, the Try Guys seem to be releasing their pent-up emotions through memes and videos. They were also back to filming for their channel with a fan favorite guest, Kwesi. And it was a future collaboration fans appeared to be more than pleased with one viewer tweeting, "You already know what to do with Kwesi. Give him the contract and paperwork." On October 6th, the long-awaited Tripod episode was uploaded. Instead of rehashing the same old statements that tiptoed around the more nitty-gritty details of the investigation, Zach and Keith decided to focus the episode on their emotional reaction to the affair. And while Eugene was absent from the podcast, it was for a refreshingly unscandalous reason.
Right. To be totally open and frank, Eugene does not like doing podcasts.
In the episode, Zach and Keith took viewers back to September, a month that was plagued by stress since learning about the affair on Labor Day.
We said, okay, we think this thing has happened that's bad. Oh, this thing definitely happened. And so each day we were getting new details and reacting accordingly.
Their daily lives shifted from drama-free bliss to hour-long phone calls, meeting with lawyers, and an unfathomable future.
We processed this almost like a trauma, like it was just so really rocked our world, but also the ramifications were so clear.
Emotionally processing the situation was either put on hold while they actively trudged through protocol or let out in those brief escapes when they had moments alone.
On your drive home, you just listen to Olivia Rodrigo, and because like it's a breakup album, you're like, oh, it's kind of like a breakup.
Throughout the month, they went through every emotion multiple times.
I think the stages of grief, I think they're a circle. As I would get to the end of it, and then I'd be back at the beginning, and I'm like, oh no.
They'd opened an investigation, removed Ned from work, edited him out of videos. But there was another factor that had to be considered outside of the office, and that was the public. Fans had alerted them to the affair, and it was only a matter of time before the news broke.
We knew there was this stick of dynamite with an uncertain fuse. We knew that at any moment this could and would come out.
Searching keywords and phrases on social media, the Try Guys found the information was already out there if you knew where to look, and soon enough, it would be public knowledge. And as internet sleuths matched sleeves and shirts to Ned in videos he had been edited out of, the Try Guys realized they had to get ahead of the story.
Let me tell you, I think that more detectives should be reaching out to teenagers.
But even then, they had no idea how big the scandal would become.
This wasn't just about our fans now, it was about everyone who had ever watched us.
Zach, Keith, and Eugene were on a minefield where one wrong move could lead to defamation charges, lawsuits, or inflicting further pain on those involved.
I don't want people who are hurt to become more hurt.
Yeah.
I don't want to do something wrong and get sued and further jeopardize the company and people's jobs.
Each and every move they made had to be calculated.
There's this big domino effect of making a mistake, so you really have to not make a mistake.
But as gossip started making waves online, the Try Guys learned a hard truth. Their lives imploding meant views were skyrocketing.
People were watching us. And so I go, oh, that's why people make this their career. That's why they lean hard into drama. And what I've also learned is I want no part in it.
And the cherry on top of the cake? Their former coworkers began to insert themselves in the madness.
I'm glad that this experience gave former BuzzFeed employees the opportunity to vent their BuzzFeed trauma. You know, that's what this moment's all about.
Yeah.
I'm glad that they had their moment.
Eventually, they released their statement, and so did Ned, in a font that looked suspiciously like their own, to the point that it seemed like they'd coordinated responses. This, Keith viewed as a tactical move from the former Try Guy.
It's my opinion that was on purpose. that was to a optimized result for him.
In the episode, Zach and Keith noted that while Ariel had not been let go, her future on the You Can Sit With Us podcast was understandably uncertain.
But at this time, we're gonna give her some time to focus on herself, and we'll let you know if that changes.
They also maintained that even if the information hadn't been leaked to the public, the Try Guys had no future with Ned after he made the choice to cross boundaries with an employee.
Very simply, he would have been removed. It would not have been this public spectacle. We probably would have tried to avoid that for the sake of the other people involved.
And it seemed his departure had a positive effect. According to Zach, the channel had become inflexible over the years.
The Try Guys was rigid and incapable of change, and that any attempt that I had to push against that wasn't going to work.
But in the wake of this shakeup, there was the chance to creatively reinvigorate their work.
For better or for worse, we're here now, and what I see in that is an opportunity to have the Try Guys be more fluid and grow with us as we grow.
Yet there was one element that wasn't a part of future plans for the channel, and that was the introduction of a fourth Try Guy.
We will have new people that come in and out. We obviously already have our buddy Kwesi, who we love, but I don't want to put the pressure on anyone to say, this is the new Try Guy and he is the replacement.
So while fans continue to mourn the loss of the Try Guys of old,
it feels like a death, not in that dramatic of a sense, but of a loss of something that you loved and you thought you knew, and now it is potentially forever tainted.
The future of the channel remains a question in the distance.
Something new is coming.
But opening up the conversation hasn't saved the Try Guys from critique. On October 8th, SNL parodied the trio's reaction to the scandal with a notably pro-Ned spin.
He committed the heinous act of having a consensual kiss and not telling us, his friends.
And while no public figure is beyond a spoof from the late night show, some viewers found the skit to be tone deaf, given that the consensual kiss was between a boss and an employee, with one Twitter user writing,
So crazy that Eugene said the world is harder on women during scandals like this, and SNL proved his point immediately. But there was another feeling the skit provoked: suspicion. Why had SNL taken Ned's side? Keith's wife Becky seemed to have an inkling, tweeting, "Anyone remember the tripod episode where he talks about his Yale friend who writes for SNL? Asking for a friend." And sure enough, viewers came through with timestamps that revealed not only did Ned have a connection at SNL,
a friend of mine's a writer and he just had a newborn.
He had multiple.
Oh, I was gonna say I was chatting with a different writer who I don't think is this friend, but went to Yale with you.
Oh,
and
Will Steven.
Yeah.
Will Steven, Ned's Yale buddy turned SNL writer. Sure, this was evidence that the show had potential for bias when it came to the Try Guys, and the fact that Will still followed Ned and posted about the sketch on Instagram wasn't exactly helping his case. But there wasn't any proof the writer was involved in the skit. At least, that was until the SNL subreddit Live from New York made a post crediting the writers for the episode, including those allegedly responsible for the Try Guys skit: Gary Richardson, Bowen Yang, Celeste Yim, and Will Steven. So, while the Try Guys were eager to end the discussion over Ned,
we're excited to stop talking about this. This is kind of it for now.
Online, the conversation is still ongoing. It's hard to look back on the past.
This is like the Ariel of spicy ramen because it's hot and I want to stay with her forever.
After the presents exposed its imperfections.
You're gonna be a great dad.
You're a great mom, all right.
And hindsight's brought every blurry detail into painful focus.
If it feels like you're cheating, it probably is.
But in the midst of the Try Guys scandal, there is a clear lesson that every unsavory action has a consequence.
That is not who we are, and it's not what we stand for.
This is the story of Ned Fulmer, the once wife guy who betrayed the trust of his fans, friends, and partner. Before you go, don't forget to check out established titles by clicking the link in the description below. Become a lord or lady today.